I actually believe that we are 6 sensory beings, not 5 sensory beings. We are much more than physical body. Whereas the medical model is very much focused on the physical as being true and being real. So all our treatments are just targeted at the physical. But there is something more, something deeper. And I believe that the true healing of illnesses, chronic illnesses, lies in realizing that there is something more. I mean, even when we go into things like using food as medicine, diet, nutrition, diet and nutrition is important for supporting the physical body. I don't want to dismiss it, and I do want to say it is important, but at the same time, diet and nutrition also only focuses on the physical. There's very little attention being paid to the fact that actually we are so much more. We are emotional beings. I mean, you've got 2 little children. Don't you see that they sense things, that they know when you walk into a room? If you have pets, people who are listening in, I had a dog for 14 years. My dog knew when I was coming home 5-10 minutes before I walked in the door. If I'd been gone a week on a trip and he was being taken care of by someone else in my family, in my home, 5 or 10 minutes before I walked in the door, before the car even pulled up anywhere near the building I lived in, he would be at the door with his tail wagging, knowing that I was going to walk in the door. How does he know that? He knows that because we're all connected. When we're born, we feel that connection. We know that connection. I'm sure you've noticed that in your babies.
Yeah, they're mostly emotional beings because they just let it flow.
Yes.
They haven't been taught a paradigm of this is how the world works.
Yes.
Perhaps. So they are constantly flowing with this emotion. So this 6th sense is like an energy, an emotive, this other thing that we have, and we have to feed that just like we would feed a physical body and be aware of that. And
we have to just treat it like any other sense, but we don't. We've dismissed it. In fact, those of us that feel it, we're the ones that are told that we are woo-woo or we're quacks or we're crazy. And so we are forced to suppress it or hide it. But in fact, without it, it's harder to navigate the world. So we are 6 sensory beings, believing we are 5 sensory beings, living in a world created by people who believe they are 5 sensory beings. So if I were to give you an analogy, let's just say that when you were born, you had all your 6 senses intact, right? But now imagine, instead of your, what we call our 6th sense, instead of your intuition being suppressed, imagine it was your sight that was suppressed. Imagine that from the time you could talk and understand, humans, adults, told you, you have to navigate life with your eyes closed. And imagine if you said, but why? Why do I have to close my eyes? I can see all this stuff. It's so cool, everything I can see. And imagine if the adults said, no, that's your imagination. If you want to be realistic, if you want to be able to get along in the world and get along with everyone else and navigate the world just like everyone else, you have to close your eyes. So then imagine you started closing your eyes. And as you closed your eyes, you went through school, and everybody at school, even all the teachers, everybody had their eyes closed. You got a job as somebody with their eyes closed. Now imagine the kind of world that would be developed if everybody had their eyes closed. All our technology, our inventions, they would be geared towards helping us navigate the world with our eyes closed, because we don't know that actually we can see. Does that make sense? So all our education, everything would be geared towards that. Now imagine if somebody suddenly opened their eyes and they said, but I don't need all this. I can see. I have eyes. You have eyes too. People would say, no, you're crazy. That person would be a threat, because it would be a threat to all the technology that's being developed, the technology that's bringing in income and jobs for people. So that person would be forced to close their eyes again in order to integrate into the world. So Now, let's change that up and imagine if instead of sight, you are born with 6 senses, and one of your senses, your intuition, that's the one that's been suppressed. That's the one that you've been told is your imagination as you grow up. And so as we grow up, we develop technology to help us. You know, we develop smartphones, or we develop earlier and earlier detection medical equipment for medicine. But actually, we have that ability within us to detect illnesses within our own body. We don't need machines. But it's been suppressed within us. We're born with this. Animals have it. Babies have it. We all have this. But you see, and the thing is, if you imagine that you never had sight, or your eyes were closed, you would not know what colors are. You would not have words. Even if you opened your eyes and you could see colors, there would be no words developed to describe them, because nobody has assigned words to them, because technically they don't exist. It's our imagination, right? If we had not been suppressed from using our intuition from the time that we were born, we would have assigned words. We would have as many words to describe all the different nuances of levels of intuition, the gradients of feelings we have, whether we are full-blown psychics or intuits or clairvoyants, or who can see in the future, or who can feel the energies of what's going on, or am I someone that can feel whether you have an illness coming on, or am I someone who can just feel my own illness? You know, like there's different gradients, just like there are as many different colors that exist in the world. We would have assigned words to all these things. But today, when someone feels these things, they can't describe them because we haven't assigned words to them. And so when we do feel these things, we don't have the tools of language to describe it. And number 2 is that we are the ones that are made to feel that that it's our imagination, and it goes against the medical paradigm, which is a force to be reckoned with. You know, when we say that, but I know how to detect illnesses. I know how energy affects our physical bodies, but it goes against everything that, the direction in which we have gone in developing our paradigm.